Hello, folks. Jason up, New Age Revolution Cave. Before we start the LJN revisited look at George the Animal Steele, give me a quick 30 seconds to talk about a friend of mine. You've heard me mention Collectors Entertainment Network several times on this channel. He has a fantastic collection. He has one of the most special objects you'll ever find a collector have. He has a notebook that he made when he was a child that records all of his LJN purchases, when he got them, where he got them. And it wasn't from an adult mind. It was actual little 10-year-old Collectors Entertainment Network. I think that's what his real name is. Writing down in real time when he bought the figures, the angles, the championships, the super shows that he did. Collectors Entertainment Network talked about him a lot. Here's the point. Look, YouTube is... It's not easy to make money on YouTube. You don't make money on YouTube unless you're Paul Logan or whatever. So what you have to do is you have to build up an audience. You have to build up so many watch hours, and then you have to have a minimum of 1,000 subscribers before you can make $19 a month on YouTube. Well, my friend Collectors Entertainment Network is only 14 subscribers away from 1,000. And he's got the watch hours. So he needs 1,000 subscribers in order to start making money on YouTube. Folks, he needs 14 more. I implore you. Many of you are already subscribed. 14 of you need to go to Collectors Entertainment Network now. I'll put the link below. I probably will forget. If it's there, I didn't forget. Collectors Entertainment Network. 14 more subscribers. Let's get him to 1,000 by tomorrow morning. And then he can monetize his channel. And then he can get paid for his glorious content. I did it. It took me a while. I monetized with the daily videos. The channel is doing well. I make about $150 a month off the channel. No big whoop. Let's get everybody monetized. They're putting in the time, they're putting in the effort, they're editing the videos, they're making content, they're entertaining you. Let's at least help this guy get paid from YouTube. 14 more subscribers needed. Collectors Entertainment Network. Go check it out. Please subscribe to the channel. And now on to the show. Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Gone are the days of wrestling with our favorite LJN wrestling figures, trying to convince them to stand up. What's a guy to do? I'll tell you what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get on Etsy and look up 4 Left 3D Creations and get yourself these amazing custom LJN figure stands. There is a custom stand available for every single one of your LJN Wrestling Superstar figures. Make your display shine by grabbing these custom LJN stands from 4 Left 3D Creations today. Hello everybody, Jason up, New Age Revolution Cave down here. In the cave. I said that reverse. I messed that up, didn't I? Anyway, good Monday to all of you. Monday here on the program. It's LJN. It's the Revisited. We're revisiting the LJNs. Taking a closer look at each one. Should be fun. We're concluding Series 2 with a figure that I can honestly say I couldn't care less about. The only thing that makes me care anything about this figure is its amazing custom LJN stand from my friends at 4 Left 3D Creations on the Etsy. That's right, get on the Etsy, 4 Left 3D Creations. Get your custom LJN stands, changes your whole display. You'll become obsessed with them like I am. You'll need them all like I do. Well, I think I just gave away the figure, didn't I? That's right, I gave away the figure, yes. We're going to talk about George the Animal Steele. All right, that's it. George the Animal Steele. I said last time when we were reviewing the Bundy figure, I said that I used Bundy all the time, even though he had this kind of play pose. And there was a figure that also had this play pose that I never used, and that would be George the Animal Steele. Ever? Can I say ever? Did I ever use George the Animal Steele? I can't remember. I'm sure that during the Savage Steele era, the feud, I'm sure that in my silly 9-year-old self probably played Savage versus Steele, but other than that, it's not happening. We'll take a closer look at it in a bit, but there was always aside from the pose, it's a fine figure that we'll look at. It's a fine figure. It does, it's George the Animal Steele. I think the most important, or not important, but the most interesting thing about this figure is the rumor of the variant, right? The George Steele with colored in chest hair. Now, I love LJN urban legends. And as kids, we would always tell a lie that we had the George Steele variant, or somebody in the class had it, or somebody knew somebody who had it. And we searched for it. I would go to Kmart or go to Toys R Us or something, and I'd flip through all the George Steeles, because this is back in the day when there wasn't just like one figure per name on the peg. There was 12 George Steeles. There was the George Steele peg at Toys R Us, right? So I'd flip through all of them. Just no hair, colored in hair was the tag on this. George Steele with the colored in chest hair. I never found one. You know why we never found one, folks? Because they don't exist. They don't exist. It's a prototype, right? There are no colored in chest hair versions out there in the wild, unless you're, Clark Ryder and you have all of your, your protos and variants. Nobody had colored in chest hair George Steele, because it didn't exist. Didn't exist. Nobody had red pant Ricky Steamboat, because it didn't exist. They were prototypes. But it was always fun to be like, which wrestlers? Oh, you got George Steele? Oh, is it the chest? You got the colored in chest hair, or no? Oh, no, yeah, we'll find one. Somebody's got one. Somebody's got one. No, nobody has one. In fact, the prototype I saw with my very own eyes, not in the flesh. I didn't get to touch it. But I was in communications with a former LJN employee several years ago. Cannot remember his name. Just was talking to Upstate Johnny about him and using his name, and now I can't remember his name. But we talked back and forth for a little bit, and he showed me his he had prototypes buried in his basement somewhere, and he showed them to me through email. And there was George Steele with chest hair, and it was not, it wasn't the entire figure. It was kind of like, over the shoulders a little bit, and then down the front a little bit. I don't know if it was on the back also. I don't think so. But I'm not even going to look it up online and show you pictures, because they're all customs and they're all hack jobs, and nobody knows the real one. But he had it. This former LJN employee had it. I can't remember his name. Kids are going nuts upstairs. Don't worry. Don't call the police. Don't call Child Protective Services. They're okay. They're just playing video games against each other. Seems that my kids, all they do is play video games and scream. That's all they do. You know why? Because they're on headphones and they can't hear themselves screaming, or they can't hear the volume. So it doesn't matter. George Steele, most least played with figure probably in the history of LJN wrestling figures. I would say that many of you, if not all of you, did not have some serious battles with George the Animal Steele. I just don't think so. The wrestler, couldn't stand him. I think he's probably one of the worst wrestlers of all. I just, I hate how, you watch old shoot interviews, or you talk legends, or you talk about he, contributed so much to wrestling. I think I probably could have been a pretty good wrestler back in 1985, because you didn't really do much. If you were George the Animal Steele, you didn't do anything. You wrestled 3-minute matches. You walked around the ring for the most part. There were no backflips off the top rope. There was nothing. It was just, he pawed at you a little bit and ate a turnbuckle. And, when during his shoot interviews, he would blow himself up, talk about how great he was, main event of MSG, sold out MSG, Bob Backlund, supposed to get the belt. All those rehashed, recycled stories. Couldn't stand him. Couldn't watch his matches. The Savage feud was meh. Didn't like him later on in life. I just didn't, I don't know. I think he was kind of a better than you sort of guy. He had he had certain beliefs and attitudes, and if you didn't follow along in line with him, then you were wrong, or he was better than you. I don't know. That's just the vibe I got from the interviews and from he was. He was on some wrestling forums back in the day, the forums, and he just came across as a know-it-all and whatever. Why speak ill? Why speak ill of George the Animal Steele? We're just talking about the LJN. I did meet him a couple of times. He was all right. I mean, he was, I don't know, George the Animal Steele. Let's take a closer look at, George the Animal Steele. All right, let's take a look at the best part of this figure. Like I said, the George the Animal Steele custom LJN stand from my friends at 4 Left 3D Creations. Get on Etsy today. 4 Left 3D Creations for all of your custom LJN stand needs. Here he is, folks. The least played with figure of all time. George the Animal Steele. Nothing wrong with the figure. The play pose is dreadful. Worst one you can have, except for Rick Rude's. But look, it's a great face. Green tongue, of course. It's George the Animal Steele. The hairy body, the unpainted hair is just so funny. And they did fine with that. That's it looks like some kind of strange skin condition with the flesh tone bumps on your body, but obviously we knew what they were going with. It does extend all down his back. So yes, George the Animal Steele was a hairy individual. Traditional, colors, black and red. That is George the Animal Steele's outfit. Personally, I think this figure would have been great with a shirt on. With the black and red shirt that he would also wear. I think that would have made this figure at least appear better. Now, we've got some customizers out there, folks, who will just simply paint a shirt over the flesh, and the shirt has bumps. Please don't do that. But I think the figure would have been much better looking if it had a shirt. All right, we weren't going to wrestle with him anyway, so who cares? Face is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. There he is, George the Animal Steele. And, the back of George the Animal Steele. And there we have it. Let's see if he's got a 1985 on his posterior. Oh, I should get you in the camera there. What does that say? Let's say 85 or 86. I can't tell. Let me see. Here, focus on that real quick while I look. Yeah, I still can't see it. Anyway. Please do tell me your George the Animal Steele play stories. Was he your world champion? Did he defeat Hogan? Did he slam Andre? George the Animal Steele. That is it for Series 2. We will begin Series 3, a very heavy manager series. We will look at Series 3, Captain Louis Albano, next Monday on LJN Revisited. Good night now. You, Liz. Nice. That was embarrassing.